Hi, this is Burns Hargis for another edition of Inside OSU, and today we're in a very interesting place. Our Microscopy Lab, which is out in the Venture One building at the Oklahoma Technology and Research Park. This is a remarkable facility, a lab that is run by this lady behind me, Charlotte Ownby, who is retired as a professor from Oklahoma State, but runs this lab for us, and her associate, Sushing Tan. Charlotte, this is very interesting.
Well, thank you.
What do you do here with this lab?
Well, first of all, let me welcome you to our Microscopy Lab. And what we do here is we provide a service to researchers at OSU for research projects. The microscopes we have in this lab are basically a tool that they use in their research and also for educational purposes, which we may discuss a little bit later.
Well, you've got a very interesting machine here. I understand this is called an atomic force microscope.
That's
right?
correct. And as you can tell by just looking at it, it doesn't look like your typical microscope. No. Most people are used to using what's called a light microscope.
Yeah, I use the one
that's right,
lab at John Marshall High School.
Well, good for you. And it uses light.
I didn't say I used it very well.
Well, that microscope uses light to make an image of whatever you're looking at. Mm-hmm. In this case, this microscope is totally different because, and this is the microscope part, and what it does is it uses a really tiny, tiny little glass tip that's kind of like a needle. And if you look at this, you can see what you do with this little tip is you run it across the surface of your sample. Now, what's special about it?
It says nanomaterials, so that's
really tiny. And what we mean by nanomaterials is it's at the nanometer scale. And just to give you an example what a nanometer is, if I pull a hair, okay, ouch. If you look at a hair and look at the diameter of a single hair, there's 100,000 nanometers.
Well, now, why do you have to look at anything that closely?
Small? Yeah. Very good question. What the point of this is to look at the properties of these little tiny materials and learn how to control those properties, such things as how sticky is the material, the stickiness. Mm-hmm. And that's important because the properties of the little nanomaterials make a huge difference to the properties of the large structure.
It also has to do with the strength, doesn't it? I mean, you can actually strengthen material by manipulating.
Exactly. And so let me tell you what's unique about our particular microscope. And you can see Sushing is looking at a sample now, and you can see in here, this is a view of what's actually going on in here. And this is this little lever with the tip.
Right.
And this is the sample underneath. And so what we're doing is we're looking at how sticky and how rough that little material is. And why do we care about nanomaterials? I'll tell you why we care about them, because these nanomaterials are becoming more and more common and more pervasive in all of our society. I mentioned lipstick. It's used in making clothing for our troops in Iraq. Nanomaterials. It's used in computers, used in all kinds of electrical devices. And so, I mean, that's kind of where the future is going. And medical devices of all kinds involve nanomaterials. Well, so our microscope, the thing about ours too is that it's the best one in the state right now because we can quantitatively look at these properties, and most of the other microscopes cannot do that.
Well, Charlotte, here we are before this electron microscope, and it is very impressive.
Well, thank you. It's a fantastic microscope, and this is new. We just installed this back in April, and I'm really proud of it because it's the only one of its kind in the state, and it's the latest, most innovative technology that we can get on a scanning electron microscope.
Well, now we just saw the atomic force microscope. How does this differ? What does this do that doesn't?
This actually, that's interesting. The main difference is that this microscope uses electrons to make the image. Remember over there where we talked about it has that little needle tip?
Right.
This one actually shoots a beam of electrons down onto the sample, and they bounce back, and that's what you gather with electronics and with the computer to make the image, like the image of a tick I've got to show you here in a little bit.
Well, let's see it.
Okay. This is a
my goodness, look at that thing. Is that what jumps on me when I'm out at Karsten Creek?
That's it. That is
Wow.
a common dog tick, and we're looking at the underside because I
I
wanted
can't
to.
believe the magnification. It's incredible.
Well, this thing will go up to like 1,000,000 times, and depending on how good your sample is, you can still see things at 1,000,000 times.
So how do you do that?
You just crank this big knob. You just
We're not
turn
going to
it.
blow up
We're
when I
not,
do
no,
this or
no,
anything?
No,
All right. Okay,
no,
here we go.
Go ahead. Okay.
Oh, my word.
And
Look
you
at
can,
this thing.
You'll keep
well,
going.
Charlotte,
yeah.
that's why they can hang on. Look at those things.
Isn't that
Look
amazing?
At those teeth.
Oh yeah, they're bad little dudes. So this is kind of one of the fun things that we do with this microscope. But seriously, it has a very good role in research. We've been doing research on biofuels. There's a couple of groups at OSU. And
so what would you be doing there? Looking at switchgrass and its properties?
And sorghum, and
yeah.
They're looking at the interactions of bacteria with the plant material. And it's cool because this technology that we have allows them to look at that material untreated in a very natural state. This is called an environmental microscope. So it's really great because you don't have to manipulate the sample. You can look at it just like it exists in nature.
You have some fun. Microscopy sounds like such a serious
I don't have
subject.
any fun. I just work all the time.
Well, but I know that you do something for the grade school kids.
Yes, we do. We have one of the things that we enjoy most is the ugly bug contest. And so we do.
He's a
pretty
good
ugly bug. That's
yeah.
true. This is a contest that's run by the Oklahoma Microscopy Society, which is a statewide organization from folks from OU, TU, and OSU. And every year we run the contest. It's for elementary school children. They, in their classes, usually 4th and 5th grades, they go out and they collect some bugs, and then the class decides what is the ugliest one that they've got. And they send that bug to, we have 3 labs in the state, they sent to one of us, and we put it in this microscope and we take pictures. And then at our meeting in the fall, we get together and we vote on which one we think is the ugliest. The winners, then, the society gives them a brand new dissecting microscope.
And that's a pretty
pricey.
dear in price, about
Yes.
$1,000 you told me? Yeah.
And also, 2 years ago was our 10th anniversary of this contest, and we gave 10 microscopes across the state.
Well, that's wonderful.
And it's really fun to deliver these microscopes because the kids get really excited, and the teachers are so grateful.
Oh yeah, it's such a great tool for them. Well, this is this lab is of tremendous value to Oklahoma State in a lot of our disciplines, is it not?
No, let me mention that because it's amazing that we serve around 300 individuals on the main campus in 7 out of the 10 colleges. We do work for these people.
Wow.
And the beauty of this being a centralized lab is we can afford to buy the latest, most innovative technology.
Well, this is really a privilege to come out and see all this, Charlotte. You're doing a wonderful job, and I know Sushing is a great asset to you, and you're a wonderful asset to Oklahoma State University. So,
well, thank you.
Well, I guess that's the end of our latest edition of Inside OSU. We're going to be back, but we really appreciate being here at the Microscopy Lab with Charlotte Ownby. And now I'd like to see some more of this tick because I really don't like them.
You don't like them.